Oh, please stop believing that you can manifest the love of your life. You're going to manifest a stalker, okay? There are so many lessons to learn from this whole thing. I didn't even know who these people were. This is like Liz Wizard. This is some YouTube nerd gamer guy who is just screwed her over so bad. There's a lot of lessons I want to take from this example because I went and watched their like little Q&A as like married life, which is weird because I thought they were engaged, not married. Well, I can't figure out if they're married or not. I want to show you some direct quotes so that you can see some red flags to, You never know who these men truly are without a long period of time, consistency. And at the end of the day, they could change any minute. Their story is a little weird. I really think women are still underestimating how smart, manipulative, and tactical these men are. If he's saying that he manifested you, the way y'all met was him noticing you at an airport where you had everything covered except your eyes, and he's like, this whole story is so weird. I mean, honestly, this is another lesson. Don't go after the dork. This is just revenge of the nerds, okay? If you did not grow up Gen X like me and were fed, 6 different movies, Revenge of the Nerds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's probably 15, who knows? And it's the same thing. The nerds, the dorks, the gamers, the innocent, nice guy. They're going to get their day one day. They deserve the cheerleader just because they feel entitled. Really, that's it. They think that because they were a victim of the jocks and a victim of toxic masculinity, that somehow they have worked hard to deserve women by surviving what? Bullies? So they will be your next bully. And this dude has just impregnated her, and now it's too late for an abortion. So fork this dude. Some reports are saying that they did get married quietly. And if that's the case, that's weird. Given that, I don't know anything about her. She seems pretty cool. She seems like she's got a lot of women who she's helping. And I love that, right? But like, my guess would be she may not have wanted to elope or whatever they may have done. I wonder whose idea that was. Anyway, also another lesson. And do not show don't let your partners be on God, the way that social media is used to abuse women. Men do this tactically. I talked about this with Ms. Aisha in a podcast. Actually, it's coming out today on the Risk podcast, where she helped me realize that my ex, little hobo, had me change my relationship status to dating him before I was ready. And I had no idea that was very intentional. That man knew. These men are so smart, y'all. Even if they are dumb as rocks, they've been raised under a system that taught them how to observe us, watch us, see what's important to us, and do whatever they can to extract labor, whether it's that schmegsual, domestic, emotional, cognitive, whatever, to get what they want, to keep power, to not have to do stuff because they're lazy and they don't want to, right? So I did not realize how much updating my Facebook status to dating what's his butt, how that would then be used to trap me, because I had never been in a relationship before. And it seems like she hasn't really, I don't know. My understanding is she hasn't been so public before in a relationship. The same thing happened to me, y'all. I had not been public. I had not really dated anybody. I was kind of known as like the perpetual single lone wolf kind of tomboy, whatever. And then all of a sudden this guy enters my life. People from back home in New York and LA, people from wherever they're living that had run into me, never knew me really with a boyfriend, like a long-term boyfriend. I had dated here and there a little bit, one-night stands, hate forks, whatever you want to call it. I dabbled here and there, but I had never been like, I'm with this person, right? And he was the first one. And then that is honestly what kept me stuck, is because we went public with our relationship. So just so you know, before I go into this mini deep dive on them and the things they've said, after that, I never told any man that I was dating my last name, because I talk about my life for a living, okay? That I have articles out there, I have podcasts out there, and this is before I have these big platforms. This is just when I was a writer and a storyteller and on podcasts, where I'm talking about my most intimate parts of my life, about domestic violence, about, my dad stuff, about just God, everything. And my ex listened to those podcasts and, paid close attention. He even read my book proposal so we can understand, sample chapters. Like, this man studied me. These men are predatory. They are like, they're scanning you all the time. And Miss Aisha goes into that a lot. And she really helped me understand how tactical this man was, right? And so when I started after that, I never told men my last name until I'd been together for a while. I think even my now husband, I didn't tell him my last name for, I don't even know how many months. Many, 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 many months. And then I also, I didn't accept his Facebook request as a friend until a year after we'd been married. And that was more just like, I didn't want to merge our lives too much because I didn't want people, I wanted my life to be about me. I don't want people going and harassing my family or even my now in-laws. Like, the older I get and the more like healing that I've done, the less I actually want to share about my personal life unless I've thought a lot about it. I don't overshare anymore because it can be very dangerous. And especially if you're a woman dating, God, honestly, that was a big test for me, was if men were like weirded out that I wouldn't give them my name, then I was like, yeah, then you don't get it, right? Whereas, Anthony immediately knew, and he also was like, I don't want to read any of your stories, and I want you to tell me the stories. I don't want to find out all this stuff from the internet, right? And because it's not fair. I can't look up other men. Like, this guy had a platform, but it seems like he just plays games. He's not talking about that. Like, look at this. Just look at this. I'm sure this man watched this. I spent hours looking at this stuff this morning, y'all. So if you like this, please support my content, because this is one video that took hours of research just to make. I probably will make $10 from it. Follow me on Patreon if you like my work, please. That is what's paying my bills these days, because the algorithm doesn't anymore. But she was talking, I guess, with her sister. She's talking about her father. He was just a tyrant in our house, literally terrorizing every single one. Basically talked about how, they don't have a father. Yeah, he's basically like dead to her. And that she had to grieve her relationship with herself wanting to have had that. Grieve the father she never had. Okay? So I know she's talked about her personal life. It's just one video. It's also a video of her. And again, I haven't even watched, I just got introduced to her. There's one video she's talking about, I used to talk to my therapist about not wanting children and not wanting marriage and all those things. She said, when you meet that right person, you're going to want that, because it's not that you don't want children or family. It's because you have not met a man where you feel safe with yet. So then when she met Landon, she says, I immediately thought that I wanted to have a family with this guy. Now, I don't think that that's that uncommon. I've seen it happen a lot. And a lot of people thought that was going to happen to me, because I've always been like, I don't want children. Never. And then even some of the closest people to me were like, after we got married, they're like, I was 42 or something. I don't know. They're like, are you trying to have kids? Now. And they're like, okay. Because a lot of women do. And then sometimes it's great, because they actually, not wanting children and not wanting to get married was really more based on a trauma response and self-protection. And rightfully so. And then they do meet someone who is literally is safe or feels safe. And then they start questioning all those things. I'll say I'd never planned to get married. I was never anti-marriage. I just literally didn't care for a really long time. I didn't date for most of my 20s and half of my 30s. Part of that was trauma. Part of that was I was just too busy having fun, being a raft guide, working in the film industry, being a strawberry farmer in Argentina, teaching English in Chile, doing the most random stuff, living my best life and centering myself. But part of it was absolutely a fear of getting hijacked by a man, because I'd seen it happen to so many women in my life. They literally became a different person as soon as the man entered. I'd also never seen a really healthy marriage between anyone, really. Well, in my opinion, or one that I would want. So I was like, what is the point? And it wasn't until some of my friends actually were in really healthy partnerships where the women would glow up instead of become haggard, where I was like, okay, maybe my ideas around marriage, maybe I need to be more flexible. I'm not looking for that, but I'm not totally opposed either, I did ask myself a question after, Anthony and I met. And I was like, yeah, still not wanting kids. And he didn't want kids. Great. Don't have to think about it. But at least let myself ask that question. I believe this man knew about all her trauma. And that's probably why he went for her. First of all, who is this guy? I had to look him up. The thing is that he also is not nearly as successful on social media as her. Apparently, he's like, whatever. He has a YouTube page and whatever. He had a couple million people, which is a big thing. Because, it's taken me over 2 years and I still am not at 35,000. Okay. But also, whatever. Men can, grow their accounts so fast for being, so boring. But she has 8 million. He has, 2. Right? She's got way more followers. This is her job. And I believe, and a lot of women have said this man is jealous. Right? He may be successful in his own right or whatever, but this man is jealous. And he literally just trapped her with a baby. And he trapped her, or he basically spoiled her brand. He didn't spoil it because I believe she'll come out on top. But he tried to ruin her brand by cheating on her, thinking that she will take him back. He ruined her credibility as a woman empowerment, whatever. I don't know what her official thing is. There's also an interview where they're talking about how they met. And it's a really weird story about they met in the Athens airport. He was supposedly going to, what's that island? Crap, I forget what it's called. Type it in the comments if you know. Where all the European football players go and whatever, it's a big party island. Mykonos. And then his friend scammed him out of $20,000, which I'm like, what? I don't even believe that. And then he was at an airport, he was going to go home. He's at the Athens airport. And then he left his bag behind and went back to get his bag or something. But he makes it sound like his bag is on the other side of the airport. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Do you not? That part, I'm like, what? Usually if there's a bag sitting by itself, security is called immediately because people think it's a bomb. So some bag story, and guess who was sitting next to his bag? But he couldn't tell who she was because he could only see her eyes, but somehow he knew. The whole story about how they met is sketchy. And then she felt sorry for him, which is another red flag. She felt bad for him that he had gotten scammed by his friends, which again, one of the first times my ex told me a story, it was about his unaliving attempt, and he showed me his scars. Men who start off with some sob story, they know that women will let our guard down and give men things that they don't deserve when we feel bad for them. Okay? They weaponize our empathy and our mother crap that we've been taught to take care of men and mother them, even men we don't know. They know what they're doing, y'all. So then she invites him to Santorini on a girls trip, which, what are you doing? Why did you do that? That's her bad. Don't do that. Don't ever invite some dude you've never met in real life, who you've been messaging for a few years, who's been hyping you up and being so supportive of you growing your channel, even though yours is way bigger than his now, but okay. And then you randomly run into him at the airport, and then you invite him to come to Santorini on a girls trip. And then on that girls trip, he is weird and awkward and playing on his phone. That's what she said. He's like, well, I'm an introvert, whatever. What are you doing there? Why did you invite him? Why is he there? This is this is not a meat cube. This is a meat nightmare. When she saw him, she thought he was so cute, right? And he's nerdy. Y'all, please stop going after these nerdy dudes. They know that you think they're less harmless than the jock. And then they use that to trap you and harm you even more than the jock would. Even the upper nerd is going to ruin your life. I also want to say that in another part of the interview, he said he wants a bunch of kids. 5. And she said something like, who's going to birth these kids? He doesn't care. Y'all, these men who want a lot of kids, huge red flag. Huge red flag. I'm telling you, they all want a legacy. They do not want to father. They don't want those children. They want to, how's she going to work if she's got 5 children to take care of? Women still do that, but this man wants to do anything to take her down. And I'm telling you, I really did, until I dated a homosexual, I didn't realize that men are doing this for sport. It's fun for them. It is fun for them, for some of these dudes who are so insecure about themselves, to see the light in your eyes slowly die. That's fun for them. Or I think Trevor Noah, I think it was in his book, was that? He talked about men seeing women are an exotic bird, and they just like to put them in a cage or whatever, pluck their feathers. I think I'm getting that quote wrong. Sorry. This man did not manifest her. He clearly was bingo. She had a target on her head. All this trauma, right? Hasn't really had a healthy relationship or whatever, from my understanding, from what she's talked about. Finally meets a safe nerd. Y'all, nerds are not safe. Can you please learn from Elon Musk that nerds are just as dangerous as jocks and trumps, okay? They're more dangerous because they move. They're so sneaky, man. She's the answer to my prayers. I manifested you. You're like, look at this dude. Look at this dude. She even said she didn't think he was like that she thinks he's good looking, but like, she didn't realize that other people think he's good looking, even though he's really not that good looking. And he was probably like, I'll show you. And I'm telling you, when you put men like this on your platform and a spotlight on them, all these women are going to be like, oh my God, oh my God. And then there's a lot of women with unresolved trauma that they have not dealt with yet. And their number one goal is going to be to make that man leave you for them. And that is what patriarchy has done and their trauma. Okay? Like, there's a lot of women who really want to break up not healthy, want to men who they idolize with another woman. They want to break them up because of our wounds, okay? It's our wounds. And also, but when men are the prize, that's the ultimate win. That's the ultimate, like, I survived, I played the game, and I won with everything against me. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were women in his comments, like, even if they're not women writing comments on his page or sending him messages, all he has to do is go to her page and read all the women who are like, oh my God. A man like this, especially an insecure man, can't handle that. Something else that they mentioned in this interview was that when he met her, he thought they'd just be friends. And she was like, I don't have pictures of this, I don't think. And she was like, oh no, I never thought of you that way, basically. And he was just like, meh. Like, anyway, these little things that he says every once in a while, I'm like, okay. He makes little digs at her. But anyway, he's talking about how he was really wanting to have more friends that were like-minded, interested in manifestation, and aware of energies and all this. And in his mind, Liz is that person. Y'all, I'm not saying, I just want to be clear on this. It's not that I don't think that your mindset is really important. Your brain is unbelievably powerful, and your habits and being self-aware and doing all this work, those are so important. But if you're doing all of that thinking that you have the power to literally make some dude pop up, what you're going to do is, if you believe in that too much, and especially if you have like a dating coach who's like, keep doing this and the one will show up, your mind will trick you into thinking that the next douchebag, the next loser who shows up and says the right thing at the right time, especially if you really want to get married, and especially if you see 40 coming, or, whatever, you really want kids, and you're tired of waiting, and you're tired of dating, and you're tired of the game, and you're tired of and you just want to lock someone in, you are so screwed. Honestly. Sometimes I just gave up. I mean, I didn't date in general from most of my adult life. And then when I did, I almost got unalived. Like when 36, first boyfriend, almost killed me. So then I was like, oh, wait, I'm okay. And don't need this. But then I was like, well, I'm not going to let this one dude ruin dating forever for me. So I would take breaks, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll try again. I'm open to it, but I'm not looking for it in a way where I'm like, going to manifest it. I'm going to force this solution. Because what happens is when you try to force a solution because you just believe, why? Why do you need that so bad? Because what happens is then your need for this thing, your commitment to having this thing go the way you think and get what you want, you will end up getting what you want with the worst person ever who will ruin your life. So if you want to still date, but not in this, I'm going to manifest it and I have to date. So many women are like, I got to get married before 40. And then they end up, and I've done videos about this a lot, with the worst dudes because they had a deadline for forcing love to happen. And this manifesting is the same kind of thing. I'm going to manifest it. But yeah, he just wanted to be friends with her. I'm like, okay, sure. I think he's lying. But yeah, these little negging, yeah, I was just going to be friends with you. I was looking for people and then, whatever. Because, I do have pictures. And then she was like, well, I was definitely not going to be friends. So when they met on this Santorini trip, she's immediately thinking ooh, Like, this could be the one. And I think he didn't just, I think a lot of this is very intentional. But for him to be like, I just wanted to be your friend. Who has all the power now? Whenever men think they have more power in a relationship, which is why they neg you, then they are doing that so that you see them as the prize, right? This is why shut up rings never, those are always awful relationships. Anytime a man thinks that, oh, I've got all the power, she wants it more than me, you are screwed. You are so screwed. It is not going to end well for you. So their meeting is like very intense, right? They go to Santorini on her girls, I think it's an all girls trip. Correct me if I'm wrong if you know. She's going there to party, and he's going there. He's an introvert. He just wants to hang out. So he's being weird and awkward and on his phone and not talking to people. You know, if I was one of her friends, I'd be like, fork you. Why did you bring this dork? Why did you bring this loser who's making things weird? We just want to go out and have fun. Why is this guy here? So, like, that was her first mistake. So, yeah, they got to know each other first night. And then the next day, they went and explored. Why? Sounds like you're hanging out with this dude right out of the gate for your whole Santorini trip right away. Again, this is like really bad. This is like really, this is a crappy move to your friends. This has happened to me before, y'all. Here in France. Went on a girls' trip. And then the whole trip centered around one of our friends hooking up with this dude. And then we had to hang out with his friend group. Everything became about these two being able to hang out. Then they ended up dating long term. And it was a mess. But like, I was like, what the hell? This is supposed to be a girls' trip. Like, we can have like go and hook up and do our thing. Like, that's fun. But what? You're like bringing a husband on this. And he helped her get her merch set up or something. And then they had a moment where they got French fries and a kebab. Wow, what a romantic story. You got this tag along, the stowaway, coming to Santorini, one of the most beautiful places on earth. And you're having a kebab and fries and ditching your girlfriends. Like, hi, this is not a good start. And they're just talking. And she says, one of the things that I loved about you the most was that I felt for the first time, and he knows this, and this is when you've dated a lot of terrible dudes, then that a guy like this sounds like the answer to your prayers by comparison. That I had someone who's actually adding value to me and the things that I know. Because often men in relationships have always felt like I'm teaching my partner something. And she says a couple other things, I think, but like basically this guy's like, here, let me help you sell some merch. And then she's like, oh my God, he's adding value to my life. Oh my God, this must be the one I manifested. Just because he helps you with something in the beginning doesn't mean he's going to add value to you. He added something, a nerdy bun in the oven. They go to this whole thing. I feel like I manifested you. You answer my prayers. They keep saying this crap. And she says the same thing. She manifested him. She even says, I actually got scared of my own abilities to manifest. Do you know how humiliating this is? Do you know, she must be so humiliated right now. It is so humiliating to say this kind of stuff. This was 3 days ago, I think. This was days ago, y'all. Imagine doing this and then like the next day or a couple days later, you're like, oh, oops, he's cheated and it was all a lie. And what's really annoying in this interview is they go into this whole thing where they're teaching us, how do you manifest your partner? And him especially. Like, that's her thing, right? Her whole platform is like empowering women and all this stuff. But he goes and he spends so much time lecturing us how to let God happen, let these things happen in your life. How you too can get all this by manifesting. Imagine God hits you in the face with the answer to your prayer. Takeaway lesson from all this is that God blesses those who seek and honor his blessings. This is more of the secret, y'all. And it is, again, I do believe the power of your thinking and your attitude, because it's, I've had to change a lot of my attitude. And that is very powerful. That's why therapy and all these other things are really powerful stuff. But what this guy said, God blesses people like me to be a loser, a forking loser, and now I'm a millionaire. And then I got this woman because I'm blessed. And I listened when God told me. Rather than you're manipulative, maybe you stalked her, maybe you didn't, I don't know. And then all you other sad sacks out there who are lonely and not millionaires, it's your fault because you haven't manifested. It goes on. If you're going home and you're going through a hard time, and then you start praying for something, God is not going to give you what. Shut up! I can't read this anymore. God's going to give you what you need, which is also weird. So is she someone you need but you didn't want? Like, that's a weird thing to say when talking about getting with her. like, that's a little nag. So then she gives an example of this. This is such an embarrassing, y'all. She gives an example of her manifest. Imagine I saw Landon, I thought like, oh my God, I feel all these things right now. But, if I didn't invite him to Santorini, didn't listen to that voice in my head, honey, that is a voice in your head. That wasn't your intuition. That was like a trauma response. That was like your dad voice. All the one that's like this guy. Patriarchy being like, you're not really complete until you have your man. But if she hadn't listened to that voice in her head, this never would have happened. I'm telling y'all, please do not think that any of the voices that you have are your intuition. You got your brain, you got your heart, and then you got your intuition. And those are oftentimes fighting each other. She probably had the butterflies because her body was like, oh my God, he's like your dad. And she was like, oh my God, I'm nervous. This is it. My ex gave me butterflies. I learned the hard way too. Do not listen to the voices in your head because they will literally drive you off a cliff and be like, you wanted this. This is great. Then they talk about their marriage. I don't know if they're married or not. He's like, not everyone's totally compatible. She talks about how the hardest part for her, she likes to be alone. So just being around him this is so relatable because so many women are like, when you're used to being alone and not dating and then you like share space with someone, you're like, whoa, that's right. When I'm alone, it's like I'm the queen of my castle. Look at his face while she's talking about that. She's like, She loves her alone space, and I think more women should love to be alone. And I'm pretty sure she talks about this. Love your own company. Love to be alone. But I do think a part of her was trying to manifest something. Because then she talks about how she has friends who are constantly dating and having to listen to people, all these new people talk. And it sounds like a nightmare. I think she's tired of dating. She was trying to manifest this. This man knew all of that. This man's been following her for a while, listening to her talk about her life. He's talking about like business and games and crap. This is why women, when you put your stuff online, there are men watching this. Okay, something else they said after all this was like other guys and masculinity. And here he is. I'm not like other guys. Don't trust men who are like othering themselves. And then he says this, y'all. If you hear these words, red flag, provider, protecting. I'm not saying anytime men use those words that they are red-pilled or, whatever. But I'm saying if they use those words, there's a 95% chance they are. And then they talk about their relationship. And I believe, God, knowing that this man had been cheating, he says all this. They're talking about their issues. And he tries to be like, you got to fix it, stuff in your own relationship. Talks about insecurity, working on your traumas, all the buzzwords, right? He talks about how forgiveness is a big thing. Insecurities, forgiveness. You got to learn to forgive. Otherwise, it'll turn into a crippling insecurity that you suffer. And then she goes, it depends what the trust issue was. Like if the person is texting other people. Y'all, she said this exact example. Look at his face. He's probably like, wait, does she know? He immediately goes, well, there's different degrees of severity for sure. So she gives an example of a breaking of trust. Texting other people is like, there's different degrees. Y'all, if you want to see what I'm talking about, this Q&A with my husband, it's long. It's very telling. Also, there's another video where he says she's a little dum-dum. Again, he just negs her a lot, honestly. Also, they met online years ago, and he was the first man to ever approach her online and congratulate her for her YouTube success and say how proud he was of her. That's kind of weird. Some man that she doesn't know, I'm proud of you. And then the years following, he would always send me a message or try to congratulate me whenever I had accomplished something big or was ever going through something. He would always send me encouraging messages that was just so sweet. Now today, I think I went on her page today, Instagram, and she's upset that people are accusing them of like messaging when they weren't dating. I don't know. I would hate to be in her shoes right now. She's pregnant, can't get an abortion now, is stuck co-parenting with this awful dude forever now. And who knows? I don't know how much money she made, but maybe at some point she's going to end up paying him child support and alimony. But that's if they're married. I don't know if they're whatever. But right now, it takes a long time to realize how much you've been manipulated. And given that this just happened, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her defend him some more. And I really hope we don't see her go back to him. He seems to think that she will. His apology, which is what I'm going to end on, is so dismissive and ridiculous. And of course, it said the classic stuff, these people are telling me to self-delete. Okay, so you hear that all the time from people But like a lot of times when people are in trouble and then they say, all these people are telling me to unalive, whenever someone is doing some awful stuff, they get called out for doing something racist or cheating or something, they'll be like, now they're the victim because everyone's telling them to heal themselves, right? Well, welcome to the internet. Men are telling women, no matter what we do, men are just like, look, like we get like threatened all the time. I don't believe that you actually take these seriously. I don't think anyone should be harassed in general. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just like, he's immediately like, look, I'm a victim. He started off saying this. This is the beginning of his apology. And then he dismisses it. People want me to unalive myself and whatever for this thing. And that I'm acknowledging it's wrong, okay? Get off my back. I said it was wrong. Okay. It was 5 to 10 minutes of my life texting someone that I didn't give a fork about, which we know that is jeopardizing everything that I have. It's just ridiculous. It's just not fair. It's not fair that I've got consequences. It's not fair that people are upset with me about someone I didn't give a fork about. It's just 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. And then this line really pissed me off. Dude, I deserve the hate, and there's not a single person on this fucking planet who is more disappointed or upset. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's more disappointed and upset. He's like, I hate me more than any of y'all ever could. I doubt that, bro. And then I hope you can take it into consideration that I can make a mistake, okay? And get better, okay? The other thing I want to add is that please just don't make couples content. And especially if you are doing content and then you meet somebody, don't bring them into your content. This is your page. And I say this as somebody who regularly gets asked, will you do a video with Anthony? No. I don't want to, first of all. And second of all, this is my page. I have had this career as a journalist, writer, storyteller, comedian, all the things I've been doing for almost 20 years. Okay? That is way longer than I've been married. And I don't ever want my identity, my career, my creativity to be tied to another person, but especially romantic love. That's not what my page is. It never has been. Why would that change just because I'm married? The other thing is that I think was so burned from going public with a relationship I was not ready to go public with yet, and saw how that played out and saw how that actually put a lot of stakes on me staying in that relationship. I would never advise making your account a couple's account. There's a few exceptions. Josh and Jamie, they are deconstructing patriarchy together. They've been married for like 20 something years. They have 4 kids, and they don't talk about what they're going through now. They talk about how they've been deconstructing. That is different. They are doing amazing work. But in general, these accounts where it's like a couple's account, family accounts, children, like whatever, that's a whole nother thing. But when you monetize your love, you monetize your relationship, you are putting way too much pressure on yourself to make it work. And there's one dating coach that I finally blocked her because I didn't want to see her stuff anymore. But she's like, no nonsense dating coach. And then she ended up meeting this dude, and he's in all her stuff. And I just remember thinking, you know what? Maybe he's the nicest guy ever, and this is like great love for her. It probably is. But now that her whole coaching business is based on that relationship, she's screwed. She's screwed. She can't ever leave that dude without taking a major hit to her income, to her social life, to her whole brand of being a dating coach. Married, God, please just stop believing people who are selling you love and how you can manifest please just be okay with yourself, no matter whether it happens or not. I honestly, and a lot of people get mad at me for being like, why do you talk so much talk shit about marriage and stuff, even though you're married? Because I didn't date for most of my adult life. Okay? And also, I don't trust parenting content from people who talk about how amazing parenting is. I trust content from parents who are real, and they talk about all the things, like why you should or shouldn't do that thing, who are honest about the thing, because the power structure wants women to get married and, show the ring and all that stuff. So anybody who is like pushing back against that, right? We need more of that pushing back against them, because it is still a lot of pressure for women to get married, have those babies before a certain age, be tied to a man, And even though we got 4B, decentral men, that's still not like the norm. That's still not, that is still, it's way cooler to be child-free and single now than when it was when I was in my mid-30s, right? Like 10 years ago, it was way harder. And then, the farther back you go, the harder it is, right? Do not think that pressure is still not there and really big. Please don't believe any couple's loves that they're monetizing their love. They gotta feed the algorithm. So please, don't trust it. But that's why I respect her. It's because she has everything working against her to not come out with that information. And she did anyway. And supposedly she's going to leave him and sell the ring. She said she's going to sell the ring and donate it to something to support single moms. Love that. But now is a big test. Is she full of crap? Or is she actually, is she going to practice what she preaches? God, I hate this for her so much. I really hope she doesn't take this guy back. But if she does, I will understand why. She's going to go through the ringer. She's going to get so screwed if she takes him back. But I will understand why. Because even if she didn't have the social media pressure, she's got a guy who is manifested her and blah, and love bombed her and all this crap. I'm going to go into some of his quotes now. But please don't follow couples' accounts that are talking about how great their relationship is. And if you are a content creator and you start dating somebody, it's not that you can't ever talk about them. But don't bring them into men's egos are so fragile. I swear to God. Every time a woman is like, look, my man, and then it becomes like them together, the guy is like, oh, cool, I have access to all these women, because the way women treat men in the comments, they are fawning over. Even when I talk about Anthony, if I ever mention anything about him, some women will either be like, oh my God, wow, some will even say, sounds like you're a jerk to him and you don't even deserve him. And I'm like, don't you dare put him on a pedestal. And then other women will be like, I don't know, I think he's an abuser. And I'm like, what are you basing this on? I don't know, I just get a feeling, right? Vibe check. I'm like, anyway, relationships, I really wish we would stop monetizing this stuff. Please don't believe that just because they're a dating coach or a woman empowerment or whatever, if they are hard launching somebody and selling someone and then he starts to become part of their content, it's bad. It's bad. And the thing is, people are going to ask for it. Stop asking people for that, first of all. But if you're a content creator and people are asking you to put your boyfriend on there or your whatever, bring him onto your page. No! I get asked that all the time. I refuse. This is my page. My page. People follow me because of my work, not because I'm married, and not because of some dude they don't know. I'm tired of talking about this guy, y'all. My voice is hurting from talking about it, and Mose wants to go outside. I don't know much about this couple. If you have anything to add, I'd love to hear it. Please let me know. Thank you for staying through the end. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Please follow my Patreon. I've got a watch party on. We're going to watch the Marriage Story on Sunday. I've got travel content, lives, all kinds of stuff, and that's where I'll be posting most of my stuff during our 1-month trip back to the U.S. this summer, which should be interesting. Anyway, like, comment, share, hit the sub and notification button, and thanks so much for being here. Et voila! Stop trying to manifest love. Go manifest love with the big dork. Revenge of the nerds manifested. He hates you, manifested. Big dork hates you. Big dork hates you. Oh, he's never spoiled a woman before. Sure will, I bet. Anyway, just 'cause he holds your purse doesn't mean he gives a fuck. Don't manifest a stalker. He'll whisper in your ear, I want to put 5 buns inside of you. Then I'll humiliate you, 'cause I just want to be you. Don't manifest this kind of love, 'cause this ain't love. This is a guy who hates you. He's a dork and he hates himself. Now you hate yourself too. He can love bomb you with all these flowers and stupid balloons. Don't manifest, especially not a dork stalker. Don't believe that ring. Please don't believe anything. He's a dork. Don't manifest. You don't want this kind of love. She should have kept the camera covering his face forever. Good luck, bye.